So welcome, my name is Jason Church, Chief of Technical Services at the National Center for Preservation Technology and Training. And today we're going to talk a little bit about cleaning biological growth from grave markers. So the actual cleaning process is super simple. So we're going to focus a little bit on sort of tips, techniques, tools, things like that to be used. So we're out here in Natchitoches at Catholic Cemetery. We've got this marble grave marker that has obviously got a pretty good amount of biological growth on it. And we have a concrete ledger that it's attached to. So we're going to clean this whole section. So one of the first things I like to do is start with a dry brush. I usually keep one of these on me just to remove any grass clippings, leaves that have gathered, just to get them out of our way. So here we have a pretty good amount of material that's been built up from mowing. So we'll just get that out of our way before we start. Another thing is we have this vase here. We're going to move that aside while we're doing the cleaning. So before we clean, we want to make sure that this stone is stable enough to take our cleaning. Nice, tight, it's in the base well, there's no cracking, no delamination, so we're good to go. This is a good candidate for cleaning. More importantly than that, though, we need to make sure we have permission to clean this stone. There is no Good Samaritan rule in preservation. We have to know that we have permission before we do any of the work. So we've gotten permission from the diocese here to clean these. Now the next thing I like to do is to get the stone wet. Now I've got a pump spray here just with water in it. If you're lucky and you have a site that has water on site, any house pressure like that's going to be safe for stone. Unfortunately, this site doesn't have water. So I've got water in a pump garden sprayer. If you've got a volunteer group that's going to be cleaning a lot of stones, you could ask your local fire department to bring what's called a water buffalo. Fire departments have them, National Guard have them. If you have a volunteer or a friend that's a farmer, ag tanks work really well to be brought on site. Just make sure it's not been used for anything else like fertilizer. That could definitely put chemicals onto the stones that we don't want. What we don't want to do is come out and clean in the heat of the sun. It's not good for you. It's not particularly good for stone. A real bright sunny day, especially with granite, is really not good for the stone. So we want to try to avoid that. All right, we're going to let this sit for just a second and dry out a little bit before we apply our cleaner. Talk a little bit about our tools we're going to use. I like to start with a bucket. I've got this little sort of grate that goes into my bucket. That keeps all the really nasty lichen and biological growth and anything that's coming off of my brushes, and it settles down to the bottom. And you can get that at any auto parts store. And then I like to put a few inches of water in my bucket. There's lots of brushes that work really well for this, and if you get really into cleaning, you'll find yourself sort of feeling and playing with brushes constantly, finding ones that you think will work well. Talked about before, one that we keep dry to get grass and things like that off of our stone. So when we're actually cleaning, I prefer a natural bristle brush. The size and shape just depends on what you like best. These that are called peanut shape work really well. But a nice, soft, natural bristle brush works really well. A lot of people like the kind with a handle. Definitely nylon are fine, just be careful that it's soft. This is a soft one. Use that a lot for the bases. Concrete maybe, and then a variety of shapes so we can get in the small angles and any detail that we have. So old toothbrushes, nylon again. This one's a little stiff. This is called a grout brush. I usually use that between the 90-degree angles. Toilet brushes, these are good. You could also use harder ones like the Palmare, but not on the stone itself. These work well for cast concrete or more modern sidewalks or railings or coping of concrete that might be around your stone. So I'd be okay using this on our concrete, but I would not use it on the stone itself. It's too stiff. Another thing that works well are these soft nylon detail brushes for cars. So a very soft brush. And these they've got a hole that you can put on a pole, help save your knees when you're washing, especially these larger flat ledgers like we have a lot of in this cemetery. These work great for that. Now, since what we have here is just biological growth, a little bird droppings, some insects droppings, we're going to use a cleaner that's a biocide. Today we're going to use D2, which is a surfactant with a biocidal additive, so it's a detergent that also kills biological growth. So for this, we're going to spray the stone down. We want it to let it dwell. So ideally, we're going to spray it, let it sit about 15-20 minutes, let it do its thing before we come back to scrub. And this is when we would go on, do the next one, spray the next one, and get a series of these going. Now you can definitely use a pump spray bottle like this one, or I usually just put it in a garden sprayer and keep separate which one's your cleaner and which one's your water. I usually write the cleaner on it and then put blue tape for water. Now you'll notice our stone is starting to turn colors. That's the biocidal additive in the D2 killing the biological growth that's on the stone. All these things are normal, all that's going to rinse away, but that tells us our cleaner is doing its job. Now this stone doesn't have a very heavy moss or lichen on it, but a lot of times they do, and it's perfectly normal to want to scrape that off. It's going to lessen your scrubbing a little bit. So there's all kinds of tools we can use for that. So one is just plastic putty knives. I also like what are called Bondo knives. This is for auto body. Another thing that works really well is old hotel keys, credit cards, gift cards that are expired, bamboo chopsticks, bamboo skewers. This is a bamboo cuticle pusher. All these things work really well for helping us get into the lettering. So we've let our cleaner dwell a little while. Now we're ready to scrub our stone. We want to start from the bottom and work our way up. The reason is, on a smaller stone like this, we really won't see much of a difference. But on a larger stone, it'll actually take more effort as all the dirty water runs down. It'll absorb into the base of the stone, into the lower parts. It'll take more effort to remove that. So we want to start from the bottom and work our way up. Now I've rinsed it off with the water. We can see areas that have some still green biological growth on them. We could definitely spot clean that, sort of hit those little areas where a heavier growth is. But otherwise, that's really it. One thing we want to caution is you can definitely over clean monuments, and we don't want to do that. So we're spraying once, doing a little agitation, we're rinsing, we're done. One thing to caution, all marble of course isn't white. We think about the very white Carrara marble that we see in statues, but the reality is a lot of marbles are different colors. We have gray, pinks, greens. A lot of them will age to a buff color or a sandy color or a gray color. Cleaning something that's very easy to do, especially once you realize how much of a difference you've made. This is something we can do very easily with volunteers. Do a little demo, maybe have them watch this video or another one like it. And then it's an easy thing to get Boy Scouts to do, Girl Scouts to do, National Guard units. We've worked with everything from prisoners to the Daughters of the American Revolution. So it's very easy to get volunteers to come in, especially if they have a vested interest in their community, in history, or of course in their own genealogy. Make sure if you're having a cleanup day, you provide plenty of water for cleaning, but plenty of water for them as well. So you want to bring in snacks, water, things like that to keep them hydrated. Bug spray, suntan lotion, gloves, some sort of eye protection. All those are very important. Now, one thing to keep in mind, so that's one way to clean that I've showed you today. It's not the only way to clean. If you have an extremely fragile stone, you might want to spray it and leave it. You might want to skip it altogether. We don't want to impact the stone in any negative way. So we don't want to use any pressure washing. We don't want to use any mechanical equipment. So no brushes on the end of a drill or on the end of a grinder. Definitely no wire brushes. And no harsh cleaners. So no bleaches, no acids. We said before, if you're spraying something and it's coming clean instantly, it's probably not good for the stone. So we want to respect the people who have come before us. We want to respect their memory by doing the safest means and to do no harm to the stone itself.